part 3 of my big series, this deep dive of why children's classics are these, why they're timeless, why they're immortal. And part 1 was kind of an introduction. It got more into Jungle Book, and part 2 was all Jungle Book. And part 3 is kind of, well, we're pushing along, but I'm going to do 2 for 1 because these 2 books are by the same author, Frances Hodgson Burnett. I may be butchering her name. I may be. But this is the woman that is responsible for Secret Garden and A Little Princess. And you may notice that these 2 books, and along with Jungle Book, have a shared theme. And I can't help but think maybe some of these children's books have themes to them. They're in these small collections. And the collection that is Jungle Book, Secret Garden, and A Little Princess is people that are of 2 worlds. Jungle Book was Mowgli, that is, with Mowgli, and that is jungle and man. With Secret Garden and A Little Princess has that same theme of being in 2 different worlds, but not as heavy-handed, but also all 3 of these books share India. I keep on wanting to say Peter, I don't know why, but it's Mowgli. Mowgli shares his life more with the jungle. And India's jungles, India's wildlife, where Secret Garden and A Little Princess, it is these 2 different girls who leave India to England, and both for 2 different reasons. And it's them they only knew India, and they are pushed out into a different place that they are foreign to. They are different. They are not the same. They don't know. And I think this kind of follows through with this strange collection that is, with my collection of children's classics that I listed in part 1. Jungle Book, Secret Garden, Little Princess is a subculture within the list. People sharing 2 worlds, people all sharing India as part of that first world. But it's, again, India's jungles or India's people. And I feel like with this, the teacher-student class formula, you're going to see a theme of is a little more askew in A Little Princess and Secret Garden. And I want to do Secret Garden first because it has a movie coming out, and this one's more focused on the imagination. And when Secret Garden and A Little Princess are more aimed towards girls than boys, that is Jungle Book, that is really heavy-handedly aimed more towards boys. But these 2 books, Secret Garden and A Little Princess, I feel like they have a little bit more of a strange relationship with this formula of teacher, student, and class. Though they both share this relationship that I kind of mentioned a lot at this beginning, that they went from India to England, and both for different reasons. In A Secret Garden, it's that her family died, and her father ignored her. She was ostracized from her family to her own parents to just be in this toy room and have this kind of a nanny just watch over her and hover over her. And when everyone dies, when everyone goes, she is then moved to the closest family relation she has, and that is going to be uncle on her dad's side. And from that, we learn that guy who's this hunchback man and owns a house that has 1,000 rooms. And it goes through she goes through this fact of where she feels so old now because she just lost her parents, she lost her family, like Jungle Book. Death is the first thing that's going to be going through how different she is from everyone, because she's she knows of India, she doesn't know of England, but she doesn't know of England, where her most of her heritage is. And in A Little Princess, as she in the Secret Garden, as she kind of goes to this new world, she has to learn. And again, this follows the student teacher class formula, but there is no class, there's just her. And Mary has to adjust, she has to grow, and in this she seems like a total snob, and that's kind of the point. She is. But when little kids will read this, they just go, ooh, what's this adventure? They see this imagination of her exploring this big house with 1,000 rooms, her going in and finding this key, there's mystery of a garden, there's this bird she can talk to, and this small cast of characters. It's very small. It's her, a gardener, her uncle, her cousin, and also the handmaiden's, well, little brother, who is Colin. I think I remember right. And Colin actually has in this formula of student, class, and teacher, Colin is the teacher. But he doesn't teach her about how to live in England. He teaches her, hey, open yourself up and be a part of this world. Open yourself up and do something more. You want to do this garden? I will help you. And there's a magic to Colin, not magic like Harry Potter or Gandalf or Lord of the Rings. He has more of a relationship to a magic that is nature. And nature is a huge theme in these books, in Little Prince, in Secret Garden. And with him, he teaches her how to grow and how to realize there's more beauty in these lands, these moors, and how with following Colin and realizing what it means to be more outside, what it means to be more windblown, to get more food in you, and how to grow through this form, again, there's this student-teacher class formula that we're going to go throughout. He is teacher, she is the student and student almost. But as Secret Garden goes and she meets her cousin, who is more bedridden, more spoiled than her, she becomes a teacher to him, and he is the student. So in Secret Garden, it takes this formula, teacher-student class, and says teacher-student, student becomes teacher, to this more of an invalid and more spoiled brat. And with this, she'll learn how to grow on these two different spectrums, and how her cousin is going to actually grow from it as well. He comes bedridden when she meets him, spoiled, to at the end, he's running, he's playing, he's outside, he's digging, he is part of the earth. And little kids will see this, and again, they will relate to her, seeing that as this teacher figure is someone that is part of them, but he is more part of nature. And I did a big research thing. I'm not in school. I'm just doing this because, hey, why not? And I studied a lot of the Celts. And I learned that during this time period, the Welsh had it bad. They were almost second-class citizens. And you hear it a lot in these books. In this book in particular, Secret Garden. And this movie that's coming out, you see that Colin is a little bit more of a different color, and why this kind of edges me is because it doesn't show the light of what it means for why Colin's character is so important, because he is part of the land, he is part of this part of Britain, and him being Welsh, him being so white that he doesn't know what it means to, in the book, he quotes, you dealt with colored people. What are they like? This book is dated. It is dated. And it's because of that you can see why Colin is such annexed from society is because of his roots, because he's part of England, he's part of Britain, he's part of this ancient old bloodline that is just as wealthy in history and sad and tragic as it is with the Native Americans of America and what's happening in Mexico with the people crossing borders. Ireland and the Celts, these people are actually mirrored, are exact parallel with these people. And that's why I think Colin's character is so unique, because he has that relationship. He has this root to the earth, this, not to any earth, but just to England, and how he is Welsh. He is still a second class citizen. There's people superior than him, but yet he doesn't care. He's part of the earth. He's part of the animals. He speaks to them and they come to him. He has a pet fox. He has a bird. He can talk to birds. There's very fairy among him. And I think because of him and this natural magic, this true magic that is what we were kind of lost to, and that is that connection with nature. That's what Colin's character is. And when children read it, they think Colin is this magical person. And when an adult reads it, they see Colin still as a magical person. And with this Colin character, and how much prominent and powerful he is with no magic, that is wand waving, you see that with him, he is this connection that led everyone to grow. He's the main teacher. He taught, and he gives Mary reins to become a teacher for her cousin, going from bedridden to the end, becoming more of the earth, becoming more outside, walking and running and chasing, and he's happy. He's really happy. And that's what the Secret Garden is, for the lines of its maturity, for the lines of this, how it treats this formula of student, teacher, and class. And with that, you're going, that is actually kind of neat. This is what children will see. But as an adult, when you'll read this, you'll go, Mary's a complete spoiled brat. Her cousin's a complete spoiled brat. You want to slap him across the head and go, discipline him or something. And they are that. And that's kind of the point. They went from spoiled brats at the beginning to the end. They learn how to mature and grow out of that bratty nature. Her cousin still has that spoilage, but then he uses it to become more of a leader. And you can't help but go, yeah, he's kind of arrogant, but yet it's more of the lines of he'll grow more. He's going to be a more better steward for his father's land when he's going to inherit this. Is Secret Garden is a bigger book, and I kind of realize I'm kind of going over. I thought I could do this and A Little Princess, but in the same thing, and I realize it's not going to be possible. This is such a bigger book, and Colin is such a bigger character, and this movie's coming out in next year, maybe February, and they're going to do this, and I hope they do it right, but it looks like they're doing aiming more to the imagination and special effects, and I'm going, this is about the relationship with man and nature and growing up, going from an invalid to becoming more out there, and I can't help but wonder, this new movie, is it gonna do it? I mean, I think there's a 1990s version of this movie. When I was really little, I watched it with my sister growing up. I can't remember. But Secret Garden. This is going to be a bigger deep dive than I thought with these children's classics, doing them bit by bit. But they deserve it because they're so deep. There's so much more in them, and you can start to see why these are so timeless. It's more than just a simple story. There's lessons to be learned. There's these characters that you start to grow with, and suddenly, as a kid, you read it and see this one way. As an adult, you read it, you'll see it another way. And they have their negatives, but yet with Secret Garden, they take the negative and show the fact that they grow and mature and evolve. And this is the end of part 3. I need a drink. This is a big book. This is a big project. This is a big thing, and I don't know what I got myself into when I wanted to do a deep dive, but I wanted to know, why are these books so timeless? And I can't help but say, this is kind of why. This is so big, and these books, we read a lot about them. We see many movies about them, but yet, why? Why? And there's a depth, there's these deeper meanings, there's growth, there's struggle. And this is the end of part three.